Hey, hopefully it works this time. For some reason, it kept on telling me to rotate my device last time, and I didn't know why. So I thought restarting the stream would be the best option. It is a little windy today. Why I have the hood, hopefully it'll make some better sounds. But yeah, today it is Sunday, April 26th. So with that, I'm going to take the rest of the day off from social media. I'm going to try to spend some time in some silent prayer and hopefully be able to do something active and something creative. The weather's nice enough to go for a small bike ride. It's a little bit cooler than yesterday, but maybe if the sun comes out, the clouds go away, it'll be good. But yeah, I'm going to try to make this a godful resting day after this today, and spending time in the Word is definitely a good way to start off a God rest. So we're going to start off with the devotional like we always do. Jesus is calling. Hey Carol, thanks for joining. So Jesus is calling for April 26th. And once again, for anyone new, Jesus is Calling is a devotional written as if Jesus is speaking it based off of the Bible. So, welcome as perspective lifters. My children tend to sleepwalk through their days until they bump into an obstacle that stimulates them. If you encounter a problem with no immediate solution, your response to that situation will take you either up or down. You can lash out at the difficult, resenting it, and feeling sorry for yourself. This will take you down into a pit of self-pity. Hey, Carl. Into a pit of self-pity. Alternatively, the problem can be a ladder, enabling you to climb up and see your life from my perspective, viewed from above. The obstacle that frustrated you is only a light and momentary trouble. Once your perspective has been heightened, you can look away from the problem altogether, turn toward me, and see the light, my presence shining upon you. And that was encouraged by two different Bible verses. The first one, 2 Corinthians 4:16 to 18. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So, we fix our eyes on what is seen, but on what is unseen. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but is what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And then in Psalm 49:15, blessed are those who have learned to acclaim and walk in the light of your presence, O Lord. So that's the devotional for April 26th from Jesus is Calling. That one's striking a bit of a chord today. Before I jumped on this live stream, there is a family that I know, and the father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and right before I came out here, there was a picture of his son who shaved his head and was wearing his baseball hat on the couch, and then his dad came home. He's like, "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" Then took off his hat to reveal that he was bald, and then they all had a good laugh because the dad's not going bald. I don't know. It was very fitting for them. It was a kind of a touching moment, but that whole idea of we might be wasting away on the outside, but God is renewing something eternal on the inside. What we can see is temporary. Because I just saw that before coming out. I'm thinking about that. That was, I'm still lifting up that family in prayer and everything for sure. But that was a really cool moment, and it was a reminder on, this physical world. It's temporary. It's falling apart. There's a lot of brokenness. But where we are going, no more brokenness. It's going to be everlasting, no more fading and eroding away. It's going to last. And then, once again, for the daily devotional, it is the 26th, so we're going to be switching to Proverbs 26, which means there is only 5 more Proverbs left. So by this time next week, we're either going to be restarting Proverbs or reading through something else. I was not thinking that we'd be in quarantine for as long when we started this off. The information is constantly always changing, always upgrading. But one of the reasons that we started off with Proverbs was essentially there's new Proverbs every day. So for a daily afternoon devotional, I thought it would make sense to read through the Proverbs for the day. I know someone that they do that as their daily devotional anyway. And I was like, well, doing that in quarantine with a bit of that structure, I'm not used to reading my Bible super structured. So it was cool. It was a way to get into the Old Testament and to really read it. So let me know if you want to, for these daily afternoon devotionals, to continue in Proverbs or to read something else. Either way, I'm going to be happy. So far, no one's really given me what they would want to see from it. But yeah, so I'm going to start reading in Proverbs 26. Hi, Dwayne. Hey, Evan. Thanks for joining. Oh yeah, and if you guys want a snazzy handmade hat like this, talk to Laura Bronson. Yeah, alright, so the 26th. Honor is no more associated with fools than snow with summer or rain with harvest. Like the wind calmed down for this, that's cool. Like a flooding sparrow or a darting swallow, an undeserved curse will not land on its unintended victim. Swallow is a type of bird, for those that don't know. Guide a horse with a whip and a donkey with a bridle, and a fool with a rod to his back. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are. Like that. Be sure to answer the foolish arguments of fools, or they will become wise in their own estimation. Ooh, alright, so this is a cool part right here. 4. Don't answer a foolish argument of fools, or you'll become foolish as they are. But 5, be sure to answer the foolish arguments of fools. Which is it? Do you answer a foolish argument, or do you not answer a foolish argument? The letter of the law says both. I do not think that was accidental, but that was purposeful. There's reason and there's mystery in it. The answer and the guiding factor on which do you follow Proverbs 4 or do you follow Proverbs 5? I think the guiding factor in making that decision on how you follow that is 1, love. And 2, a good way to test that out is it pride focused or is it other centered focused, right? So if you're answering an argument of a fool because they've offended you in some way, chances are you should be listening to 4. But if you enter into an argument with a fool because you want to help them out because they're misguided or going to be doing something problem with that is then you can get into circular arguments. So it might be you jump in, you say your 2 cents, then you back out. And on social media, it can get even more challenging because everyone's just stuck in their echo chambers. And if you present someone with proof that they're wrong, sometimes it just backs up their incorrect statement more. So it's knowing how to do it too. It's the location and knowing how and when. And this wind is causing my pages in my Bible to fold. Maybe I should have done it inside today. Anyways, let's get back. We're going to start at 6. So, trusting a fool to convey a message is like cutting off one's feet or drinking poison. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is as useless as a paralyzed leg. Sorry, guys. This is just, all this reading is like a paralyzed leg. Honoring a fool is as foolish as tying a stone to a slingshot. Proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a thorny branch brazened by a drunk. An employer who hires a fool or a bystander is like an anchor who shoots at random. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness. Yeah. Now that I'm a dog owner, I understand that one just a little bit more. There is more hope for fools than for people who think they are wise. A lazy person claims, "There's a lion on the road." Yes, I'm sure there's a lion out there. As the door swings back and forth on its hinges, so the lazy person turns over in bed. Lazy people take food in their hand, but don't even lift it to their mouth. Lazy people consider themselves smarter than 7 wise counselors. Sorry. Yeah. If you see me laughing at that one, I'm sure you know what my opinion is on some current situations. Queen's Park. Interfering in someone else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ear. Just demanding as a madman shooting a deadly weapon is someone who lies to a friend and then says, "I was only joking. Don't bug me. It was a joke, dude." Yeah, I know a lot of people like that too. Fire goes out. Hopefully I'm not like that. Fire goes out without wood, and quarrels disappear when gossip stops. A quarrelsome person starts fights as easy as hot embers light charcoal or fire lights wood. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. Smooth words may hide a wicked heart just as a pretty glaze covers a clay pot. People may cover their hatred with pleasant words, but they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. Their hearts are full of many lies. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. If you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead. A lying tongue hates its victims, and flattering words can cause ruin. So we talked a little bit about that yesterday too. The whole flattering words and just not being honest, how a true friend will be honest even if it's painful and even if it's being talked about, and it's easy just to ignore the situation. Talking to the person directly is always important. An example that we use often when we talk about this in our Project Serve meetings is like if someone comes to the meetings like a couple times and it's just like, man, they really smell and I'm not comfortable being around them. that probably means other people aren't super comfortable being around them. And then we encourage them, one, to talk to the person directly. Be like, hey, dude, I don't know if you're aware, but, you could probably use, like, deodorant again after gym class or whatever. There is kind of a smell, and it's probably hurting how you're interacting with some of the rest of the people in your life, but especially by the time school's done and we're meeting, it's probably not the best thing. And then if they don't do anything wrong, get a couple people that you know are affected by it, and then talk to them. And then if that doesn't work, then you go to the person in authority. And that's all based off of the Matthew 18 principle. And almost every single time I've seen peaceful outcomes when you deal with conflict in that situation. But the other thing that was kind of popping up in my mind while we were reading this from 24, people may cover their hatred with pleasant words, but they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. Their hearts are full of many evils. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. So a lot of people can get suckered into like wolves in sheep's clothing, as we call them. A lot of people will speak good, persuade you into not liking things. Like, that's the foundation for a lot of racism. That's the foundation for a lot of religious prejudice. And like, even in the States with that whole like immigration thing that they were talking about earlier on, if you knew someone that was getting targeted to be like kicked out, most of the time people were like, yeah, well, those other people, not them. Or, okay, well, now that I know them and they're okay, maybe not everyone needs to go, because like now I understand and I empathize with them. But people will talk smooth, and sometimes they'll prey on your fears because of their hatred of something else. It was Hitler's tactic, right? Hitler was an amazing speaker, and I would argue a good leader who had hatred and fear in his heart. And he spread that like a disease, like the disease that we're seeing now take over the world. He saw that fear and hatred, and he spread it. And awful, awful things came from it. He's like the leader, and I'm doing this one to troll a couple people, of the Patriots, who are like, yeah, it's okay to cheat. We're gonna win anyway. Because there's like that hatred of others and just lifting up self, right? The other thing that popped into my head is that's how a lot of people get tricked into the sex trade industry. A lot of young girls, they hear these amazing words, these words of flattery, these words, and guys, and transgender, and the whole gamut. In our area, from what I know, it's been targeting teenage girls mainly, which is a whole other thing. But they target them with flattery, gifts, and everything, and then they get them trapped. A lot of times they get them really high, promise this dream trip, and they go and they sell them off because they never really cared about them to begin with. And that's why, and usually you'll have people going like, hey, I don't think this person's good news. I don't think this person's good news. But they just don't want to hear it. So listen to the people that you care about. You've established relationships and friendships right now. And if you are a friend to someone, practice being able to call people out when they need to be. And practice listening when people try to correct you. I am still very much in that, and I need to be better at practicing. I may have actually gotten a little bit worse at calling people out than I used to be. And a lot of this, it's like how God cares about our interactions with others, how to protect ourselves. the best lies are rooted in truth. And when you buy in and you hold on to a lie, it can be really hard to let it go. There's a lot of scientific things too about how when you're holding on to a lie and someone proves to you that you're wrong, you hold on to it even tighter as like this fight or flight type response in our brain. We just hold on to it tighter and tighter and tighter. And right now, with our whole makeup of social media, it's easier and easier to get put back into these boxes and then just hear the people that agree with you. And that can be really dangerous as well. As a Christian, if I only hung out with Christians, how am I spreading the news and the love of God to those around me? And I'm in a bit of a different situation since I work at a Christian organization. Everyone that I work with is Christian, so I wouldn't have that. And if I only hung out with other people, like, I would never really be able to fully express that. And I wouldn't be able to challenge my thought process. I wouldn't be able to have the deep roots in God that... all right, later, Carl. Thanks for joining. By the way, Carl is my pastor, and the live stream of today's sermon is up on the Well Facebook page. Look for the Well on Facebook, and you can check out the sermon there. But for today, that's, I think, does it. I want to encourage you also to take a time of rest. For me, part of that is going to be breaking away from social media, doing something creative and something physical, and spend time in prayer, spend time in silent prayer. So thank you. I will pray, and then we'll cut this baby off. Right now it seems like everyone's actually gone anyway, but that's okay. I'm still going to pray. And I know some people watch this afterwards anyway. So, but leave a comment. A few people left comments yesterday on yesterday's video after the fact, and I came back. I prayed for them. So, our personal relationships, family relationships. I lift up the family right now that I was talking about, who's the father has stage 4 cancer, and the family's kind of dealing with that and the coronavirus, and the extended family is too. One, I pray for a miracle, for healing there, and I pray for strength and wisdom for the family, and that reminder that you can remind them of how you're building eternity in to not only the father but the whole family. I pray that this can somehow be an opportunity for all their faiths to be strengthened. But one of the favorite Bible verses, and definitely the first Bible verse I ever memorized, was Jesus wept. You weep, you understand our mourning, you weep with us. Even though you have conquered death, you have conquered death and disease, you're inviting us into something far beyond what we can really imagine. You still weep with us. So Lord, I lift up that whole family. I lift up everyone that's dealing with some extra stuff. I lift up my father-in-law as well, and his healing and wisdom and knowledge for the doctors, and they can protect him from COVID-19 as he's in the hospital still. Lord, I thank you that even though it is a little bit cooler, we can be outside. Lord, you are awesome in so many different ways. I love you. I thank you. Lift up all the healthcare workers. Lift up everyone that came onto the stream. For all the churches, small and large, I pray that they can have a couple new viewers of their sermons today. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lord. your name. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. It's not super sunny today, so it's not as nice for a bike ride or anything like that, but hopefully you get a chance to rest. So, all right, later.